Hello again, everybody, and right off the bat, you're wondering, why are we looking at these guys in March? Welcome to the Altoona Mirror Basketball Show here on Mirror TV on YouTube. Special edition for Michael and I, who found out 2 seconds before that camera got turned on by our director, Dan Eisenberg, but our owner, Neil Rudell, came to us and said, people love you guys during the football season. They want to see Mike. They want to hear Dan. They want to see Scott. I am Scott Franco of the Altoona Mirror. Mike Boydham of the Altoona Mirror does all the basketball stuff for us. Dan Eisenberg behind the camera. We're going to talk a little bit about the 10 teams in the Mirror coverage area.
And we didn't invite Andy because he's a wrestler and we didn't want to offend the wrestling community.
Yeah, we thought that there was something in his contract that forbid him to talk about basketball while the Hershey wrestling has not even happened yet. Maybe next week, if we would come back. We don't know if we're coming back, but maybe Andy would be able to join us. But we're going to talk about the 10 teams in the Mirror coverage area that are still playing. We got 2 games Friday. We have 8 games on Saturday. And this is the official first round of the PIAA. Those sub-regionals districts are already played. Let's talk about Friday night's first game, Mount Lebanon and Altoona. And Mike told me an interesting tidbit before. These 2 teams have already played. But Altoona still has a decent shot at winning this.
Hey, Altoona has a great shot. I mean, when they played Mount Lebanon the first time, it was during a stretch where they had 4 games in 1 week. And that was the third of 4 games. And they had to play State College the next day. So, I mean, maybe the legs are a little tired. And plus now, I think Altoona's playing its best basketball. When I talked to Coach Chris Flegel, he said they're playing their best basketball right now. And if you look at the bracket here, they're going to have to go through a lot of teams that have already beaten them. So if Altoona's going to make a run to the 6A championship game like Brooklyn Barron was hoping they would, they're going to have to go on a revenge tour.
And also, the nice thing about Flegel's girls play defense. And I know they say at the NBA level, I always say, you have to find people that want to play defense. And it seems like Altoona's girls like to play defense. They're just going to have to find some offense because, I mean, are they going to be able to win games 41-39 at this level?
Well, and Mount Lebanon's really balanced. The last time they played, there was 11 girls that played for Mount Lebanon. They all scored. So Altoona's going to have to get the same kind of contributions, but Brooklyn Barron wasn't there for that game, so she's there now.
The Ire girl can score, the Wilt girl can score.
And Jaden Kroll had 13 points the last time they played. So
our next game, it's a Friday night game, is Portage Mustangs, Portage Boys. They're playing Cameron County, and Portage, they score. I mean, that's just, I got to think that's a running gun, but also they are now beginning the PIAA track without Andrew Miko, which they went through the districts, and got big games from the Cargo Boys and Luke's Garden. Now, what's it look like for them with this Cameron County team?
Well, remember, they've made nice runs in 2A the last few years, and now they're down to 1A. Cameron County is a District 9 team that I think that Portage is a better team than them. I think that they're going to get the victory here. Luke's Garden's been playing amazing since his best friend Miko got hurt. He dedicated the district playoffs to him, and he's been playing amazing for them. The problem for Portage is going to come in the next round, where once again they're going to run into probably Kennedy Catholic, or Kennedy Catholic and them have met up the last 2 seasons, and Portage got them the one year. And then last year, Kennedy edged them in the quarterfinals. So it's going to be a tough road, but Portage has proven that this is their time of the year.
And they just like to outscore people. That's what they'll try to do. Let's switch over to our Saturday games. The first one we're going to look at has nothing to do with the fact that I have my Penn Cambria Cup here with me. But the Penn Cambria boys, the District 6 champion, are playing Yauk, and I said that right, correct?
Yeah, you did.
The Yauk Cougars, even though it's spelled Y-O-U-G-H, which Daniel, I imagine, will have on the screen there in front of you. This game's in Mount Aloysius on Saturday at 5. Yauk's a District 7 team. They're Whippeal. What's Penn Cambria boys' chances like in this one?
Now, this is a 7th seed from the Whippeal, so you'd think, Penn Cambria will just roll in this game. Well, let's just fill you in case you didn't know, York actually played BG earlier in the year, and BG only beat them by 2 points. So, Penn, Cambria, and BG are pretty equal. They played right down to the wire, so expect this to be a good game. But if Penn, Cambria can get through this, they'll play either Steel Valley from the Whippeal or Bedford in the next round, which they split with Bedford in the regular season. So Penn Cambria has the opportunity to win a couple games here in the state play.
And also, York has not, being the 7th seed, they haven't played in a while, correct?
Right. And
Penn Cambria is coming off that great win over BG last Friday.
They are, and York also doesn't have a great history in the state playoffs like some of the other Whippeal teams. They had not won a Whippeal game in quite some time before they made it this year.
Okay. Our next game we're going to talk about, speaking of BG, part of the doubleheader here, the BG boys are playing Loyalsock Township, which is a District 4 team as well. BG, hopefully in a bounce-back mood after the tough loss to Penn Cambria. What do you know about this Loyalsock team?
Well, Loyalsock is actually, here's an interesting tidbit about them. Their coach is Ron Insinger, and he has the most career wins for a boys coach, over 1,000 wins.
How old is he?
I'm sure he'll appreciate that.
Is he Jim Boeheim's age,
the
former Syracuse coach who just was forced to retire at age 78? So God bless him if he's got the most wins.
But Bishop Guilfoyle has won more games than anybody in the boys playoffs from our teams here recently. 2019 they just played for a state championship. Chris Drenning knows how to get his guys ready this time of the year. I've never seen him more upset after they lost to Penn Cambria. He really wanted that district championship, and it was said it was hard to focus on the state playoffs, but I gotta believe with a week to go in between, he got the team refocused, and Patrick Haig, this is his last go. He's gonna want to put the stamp on his legacy at BG.
And just from reading the stories in our paper and listening to the stuff on the radio, the Ream kid seems like he's been playing better. If they can get something out of him and not just have to worry about the two Haig brothers, I gotta think that looks good for BG.
Yeah, and if they win this game, they're probably getting Deer Lakes in the next round. Deer Lakes won the Whippeal this year, but Deer Lakes played Penn Cambria in the first round up in 4A last year, and Penn Cambria knocked them off. So there's also the route to BG winning a couple state playoff games here.
Our next game, jump over to girls. Hollidaysburg, 24-0, has pretty much crushed everybody on that schedule, and a couple of times, if you read our paper, you could see comments that, they want to show that they deserve to be 24-0, and that people think, they're not worthy of this 24-0, but they are, because the team you're supposed to beat, they beat badly. Now they get a District 3 team, Lower Dauphin, in the first round at 5 p.m. What do you know about Lower Dauphin?
Well, Lower Dauphin is a team that they should be able to handle. They are obviously the 6th seed out of District 3. The bigger picture here for Hollidaysburg, which is ranked number 1 in the state.
Which I bet Coach Jubek doesn't even like hearing about that, does she? Doesn't want to jinx it.
The big game, I think, for Hollidaysburg in this is I think they're going to play Oakland Catholic in the second round. And we've all heard of Oakland Catholic. They've been up 6A, they've been 5A, they've played Altoona, they've played Hollidaysburg over the years, and they're always a tough team. They don't have the greatest record, but as the Whippeal runner-up, I believe, they are a formidable team that if Hollidaysburg can get through that game, I think Hollidaysburg could make it the whole way to the state semifinals. But first of all, take care of business at home. You got a home game. That's what you've worked through the whole season, and then really focus down and because this team played Chartiers Valley last year. Chartiers Valley, the final score was 70-47, but Hollidaysburg was winning that game late in the third quarter. They just got away from them late, and then they kept fouling. And Hollidaysburg has proven that they can play with the top teams in 5A. This is their year that they need to go out and prove it.
And also, Mike has some interesting notable notes in his capsules that'll be in our paper. They split with Mifflin County, which Hollidaysburg beat Mifflin County pretty good.
Yeah.
So, again, without jinxing Hollidaysburg, and I also saw you have Lower Dauphin's best player is a girl that's as big as the Hattajack girl from Hollidaysburg. So that'll be an interesting matchup there. Our next game we're going to go to, staying with the girls, 4A. Penn Cambria Lady Panthers. They won the district. They're going up against the number 4 team out of District 7, again, at Whitfield Highlands. How good is Highlands?
Well, I will say, we all know that the Tyrone team that made it this point last year in 4A had Stephanie Ramsey, Jada Parker, very good team, and they lost to the 4th seed out of the Whitfield. So just because it's a 4th place team doesn't mean it's a bad team. And Penn Cambria really came on at the end of the year, but we'll have to see how good they really are. And, this could be, this could be a big test for them. And the fact that they're playing in a doubleheader, though, with their boys, there should be a nice crowd there. They're up at Mount Aloysius, where they just won a district championship. Hopefully, that makes them put in a comfortable situation, and they at least play their best game.
And Crossman's their girl, right?
Crossman's their best scorer. Emily Height is leading them in all their other categories, and that's a senior combination that wants to go out. They want to go out winners, and they're going to need to win a state playoff game here to finish with at least a 500 record. So,
staying with the girls again, Northern Bedford girls, number 2 out of District 5, getting Elk County, number 2 out of District 9. But that seems like a tall task, because I've always read and heard things about Elk County Catholic. Is it true what they say about them?
Well, Elk County Catholic has a really, really, really good boys program. Their girls program's pretty good, but District 6 and 5 has had some success against District 9 in the girls basketball playoffs. However, Northern Bedford has to travel 111 miles, I think I saw for this.
Look at the stuff he looks up.
And it is going to be...
What else are you going to get?
As much as our teams are getting to host, a lot of our teams are getting to host, and teams are having to come here, Northern Bedford's one team of ours that has to make a full trip for a true road game. And I talked to John Ewart, and he is saying about how big of a challenge it is. The atmosphere is going to be tough for them. But hey, this team's tested itself against some of the best teams. They have 8 losses this year, and 3 of them are to Williamsburg. We know how good Williamsburg is, and one of the other ones was to Berlin Brothers Valley in the district championship game. And we know they're a good team.
And speaking of road trips, Mike has it right underneath the next one. Juniata Valley girls are playing Aquinas Academy. Did I say that right? Aquinas Academy, and they are going to Russellton. Is it Russellton, Pennsylvania? Yeah. At Deer Lakes High School, which I think... Is there a charter plane that's going to leave the State College Airport for them? But what does Juniata Valley have in front of them with this game?
Well, Aquinas Academy, or however you pronounce it, we just have to write it. We don't have to say it.
St. Thomas Aquinas, who is a famous saint in the Catholic religion, so I'm hoping we did get it right there. But go ahead.
Anyway, they got upset as the Whitfield runner-up in this position last year. So Juniata Valley has a shot. They're playing better basketballs during the end of the season as well. They had a really nice win over Winburn, and they were somewhat competitive against Williamsburg in their last game against them in the regular season. They have some good seniors like McKenna Hartman, and they have a really good freshman, Anna Taylor,
I was going to say, yes.
who is only going to keep getting better, and now she's got a full year under her belt. We have Maddie Hopsickers on that team, the daughter of friend of the show, Rochelle Hopsicker. And Juniata Valley used to have a lot of success in these 1A playoffs, and then they were up at 2A for a while, and now back down at 1A, maybe they'll make a run.
And in our last 2 games, Mike saves the big time here for the end. Our Williamsburg girls basketball program, 26-1. In fact, he'll answer this question. I can't remember who they even lost to. That's how long ago it's been. They are playing at Claysburg Kimball against St. Joseph, the District 7 4th team. After this game, if they get past this game, tell the folks at home how good Williamsburg's chances are of keeping going here.
Well, they're on a 26-game winning streak because they actually lost their first game of the season to Penn's Man.
I knew it was
It was at the Hollidaysburg tournament.
Okay.
And they have a great chance, I think, to win the state championship. They made it to the Final Four last year. Northumberland Christian graduated their best player. Portage moved up to 2A. Kennedy Catholic moved up to 2A. This game here, St. Joseph's has 4 players that are 5'10" or higher. Normally that would worry me, but I think Williamsburg has the speed and defensive ability that's going to make it tough on those girls to keep up with them.
Because she'll press them the whole game.
And I just think that the next round it's a game that they definitely should win. They're going to play either the District 10 champion Jamestown, who's 5-18. They beat a 2-20 team in a 2-team bracket to win the district title.
And Mike knows how I feel about under 500 teams making the playoffs, but that's another.
Well, in the upper bracket in 1A, you have 4 teams with a losing record, and then another team that District 12 didn't even have a team enter the state playoffs, so a team has already received a forfeit into the second round. This is Williamsburg's tournament to lose, I believe. They just can't take it, 2 steps ahead. They have to go 1 step at a time. And one of their biggest games, I think, is going to be in the quarterfinals against Union. That's a team that took Portage to overtime last year and has everyone back. That might be their biggest challenge to get to that state final.
Is that the game that was at Clarion against
Yes.
Portage? Yeah. And then our last game of the night, BG girls taking on a Bishop Canavan team, which is a Whippeal team. The Concy winner from them. Bishop Guilfoyle kind of got manhandled by Williamsburg, but they've done that to everybody. But how are their chances of bouncing back against this Canavan team?
Well, when I talked to Coach Cack, she said that the big concern is the press. The Canavan likes to press, but I think the cure for being worried about the press is playing on your home floor in front of a crowd that's supporting you instead of a crowd that's being loud and cheering every time you make a turnover. I think that's going to be really helpful for them. And I mean, Coach Gack led the team to the 2021 state championship. She knows how to navigate these state playoffs, how to get a team ready. This Bishop Guilfoyle team is at the beginning of their progression.
They're like a year or two ahead of schedule.
Anything they accomplish during this run is going to just help them in the future, because what they have coming up in 7th and 8th grade and their 9th grade group that's on this team currently, they are great players. And then you got the veteran leadership of Bella Adams, Sarah Geishauser as a junior. This team, anything they accomplish this year is going to be beneficial for this program going down the stretch.
And then the freshman Stella
Zelieski
already. If there were
Leitner.
If there was a cool name segment for girls basketball, which we do not have, and Mike's against Stella Yeski. I just think that sounds like a cool name. But that's going to do it here for us here on the Altoona Basketball Show. I wish we would have had more basketball decorations for you. Enjoy it. Tell our boss, Neil Rudell, how much you enjoyed it.
And make sure you check out the preview capsules we're going to have in this weekend's paper. Thursday we had a big state overview look, and there's going to be a feature on the coaching changes that people make once it gets to the state playoffs. We are going to have all the games covered for you, so just remember to pick up the Altoona Mirror and check out all of our coverage.
Yeah, 2 capsules Friday morning, 8 capsules Saturday morning, and then all 8 games will be in your Monday morning paper. For Mike Boyden, for our director Dan Eisberg, we got the cobwebs all dusted off here. I'm Scott Franco. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.